All right, you're on, Naomi.
Okay, but since we were talking about Centennial Park, Rich, do you want to tell us there's a little bit more to do right in the park and we need help from Rotarians? Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Yes, I would. We finished phase one. Phase one is the grass and the trees and the walkways, and phase two will be a perimeter wall with a fence on it. And including that will be some stools where people can sit. We don't want to do benches because it would just lead to homelessness taking over. So we're going to set up stools, and then there will be electricity because there is a performance mound, and we want to actually have community events there when we can. And the city is actually going to pay for the lighting ultimately, but the number that we're still looking to raise between now and whenever we can get a permit from the state, because when we build the wall, we've got to go underground, and we have to get through the bones issues. So the number that we're still looking to raise is in the neighborhood of about $400,000, because that fence is not inexpensive, and all the help that we can get from the Rotarians statewide would be much appreciated. The signage that we're planning on putting in will tell the story of Rotary in Hawaii and give every club a chance to say what they do best. And so that's our goal, is to have it be not just our club, but all clubs, and celebrating Rotary in Hawaii for over 100 years. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there will be a story of every club in our district. And so it'll say what your most significant project is. And so if your club has not submitted it, they're going to print soon, and they really need that information. There are still a few clubs that haven't submitted that. Okay.
I think it's the way it's going to work on a QR code so that people can go up with their phones, and then all of that information will be available. So that's how I think it's going to work. Okay. Thank you, Naomi.
But it's kind of impressive when you see the list of all of the projects and international sister clubs that we've got with our clubs in Hawaii. Is just impressive. Is very impressive. Okay, so before Benson starts and before we get into a little bit of DEI, there are a few announcements. Okay, so did you guys all hear that Taipei is virtual? Yes? Right. Okay, so Taipei, it's not going to be Taipei, it's going to be a virtual Rotary convention, same date, so it's June 14th through 16th, I think was the same dates. So the fee, the registration fee is $49. Everyone who registered or got a room block there will get a refund. Okay, so nothing to do, you will get a refund. District conference, after we talk to some medical people, district conference, unfortunately, is going to be virtual. And so we still are going to be doing the celebration of life and entertainment and highlight the successes of the clubs and the awards. So what I'd like to ask everyone to do is to write in the program, we want a little blurb from the president on what your club did this year. What are you proud of? And so if you can start thinking about what you want to say about your year, we'll send you a template, and then you can put that in. We'll put that into the program so that every club has a chance to say, you know, what you are proud of your accomplishments this year. Because if we had everybody talk, that's going to be taking 2 days for us to go through everything. Because it's amazing all of the projects that people did. So celebration of life is for anyone who passed away. So we have a template. You put their information in. We want a picture, and we will celebrate their lives. Okay, and then we have some business items to get through. We're going to be approving the financial statement for last year, and then we're going to look at the policy manual, the district policy manual. So anyone who has a recommendation on a policy manual change, please let Sandy know, because we have a legislation committee. Sandy's going to be taking in all of these recommendations for amendments to the policy, our district policy manual, and then we'll have a meeting, and then we'll get that out to you no later than 30 days before our district conference. So district conference, same dates, in May. And also, if you want to sign up for Houston, the Houston convention, the registration price is the cheapest during the days of the Rotary convention. So during the virtual convention this year, that's where you sign up for next year at the lowest price. Okay. RILA, we still have openings for RILA, for middle school and high school RILA. So if you have kids to attend, they can still sign up for both RILAs. So middle school RILA is on February 13th and high school RILA is February 26, 27. Okay, so if you are sending kids to RILA, there is a fee that the club picks up the tab for that student. Okay, so please let your clubs know that they can still sign up for RILA. Unfortunately, HRYF scholarship application, that deadline is done. We've got a spring training coming up. So that's where the incoming boards and people will get training. And so the dates are March 27th, April 10th, and April 17th. So we'll get, Sandy will get you information on that. But we do have board training. So for the incoming and the existing board, Benson has put together this training for boards, governance, looking at your entity documents, working together. And that is on February 13th. Yeah, Benson?
Yeah,
and
right.
then we'll have a Vibrant Club workshop on when is that? March?
I don't have it with me, but it's after pets. I think it's the 19th or something like that, but
March 20. It's a
Yeah.
Saturday. March
yeah,
20.
March 20. Yeah, I was close. I had the 19th, but
Yeah.
I really meant the 20th.
Okay, but also some other webinars coming up. We have the Welcome to Rotary. So Benson does this for non-Rotarians and new members. So please let your new members and any prospects know that they can come to Benson's Welcome to Rotary coffee hour on Saturday, and it's this Saturday at 9 o'clock. And so they'll get to know a lot about Rotary. Okay, and then the marketplace is Tuesday.
Fun. It's really fun.
And everybody can come because he makes it a lot of fun. A lot of fun is the basics on Rotary. But we also have the marketplace. The Rotary marketplace is on the 9th at 7 o'clock. And please, everybody come and listen to the pitches from businesses that are owned by Rotarians. Okay. And then if you have any questions about awards, did anybody have a question about the awards, the presentation that Mel gave? Okay, so if you do, please put it in the chat and we'll cover those questions. And then we have the Nepal. If you're interested in going to Nepal in October for the International Service Project, just let me know that you're interested. Okay. Okay. One last thing before we go to, oh, sorry, I had two things. One is, the logos, the Rotary logos, they got revised in 2013. Well, okay, so they've been giving us a chance to fix our logos. So anybody who has an old logo, we need to fix it. We need to get our signs, our banners, all updated to the new Rotary brand. So I want to ask you, does anybody have like a sign with the old logo that needs to be replaced and you might need some help financially to replace that sign? Anybody have a permanent sign? Not one at a park, but maybe where you meet and it's it's out front and okay. No? Okay.
Yeah, we have one. We have one in front of our hotel that was put there, I don't know, maybe a long time ago. So yeah,
Okay.
we gotta save that.
Okay, so if you have a park and you've got a sign, those are okay, but any sign that we can change to update it and you need some help with the cost of replacing that, let me know. We'll see how we can help you with that. But all of your websites, your business cards, your banners, all of the, please check to make sure the logos are up to date. Okay, and you're using the correct logo. So we'll have training at the Vibrant Club workshop. We're going to have someone from Rotary International, and they'll talk about the proper use of logos and merchandising. Because when you get to merchandise, you sell it and it's got a logo. We have to pay royalties, so you need to get that from a licensed vendor. Okay, and then the last thing, did you guys see on the news that Pua Wong had an accident on Mauna Kea? Did you guys see that? Okay, so she's at Queens Hospital now. That is Wally Wong's daughter. Well, you guys know Wally Wong, right? Okay, so there is a GoFundMe account, and if you want to send a check to Hilo Club or to Wally, I'll put the information on the chat, and you can help them. Hey, but you guys want to have a prayer group, to pray for people that need prayers? Is that something that you guys might be interested in? Sarah? Okay, okay. Sarah, maybe you and Anka and maybe Carol Reynolds. Yeah. Okay, so we'll put that together. So if anybody needs, prayers sent to someone, then you can just send that information on. Okay. Okay, Benson, you have things to say before I go to DI?
No, actually, I'm good. I'm just gonna let you're on a roll, so keep ripping. I'll just talk when you're done.
Okay. Okay, so thank you everybody for coming to the President's Forum, and we had that discussion about DEI. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about, real quick, and we're gonna put this in the chat, on some of the things, some of the findings that you talked about and how you can integrate that into an action plan for membership development. Okay, so let me show you a screen. Okay, so you see this screen, it's got the visible diversity traits up here, things that we kind of know about, like age and skin color, gender. These are obvious things, but the invisible diversity traits, these are some of the other things that Conrad talked about. And so we had a big discussion about some of these other groupings that maybe we have opportunities in your community to reach out for membership. Okay, so we're not saying that you need to look at the numbers or you need to increase it by age, or you don't have enough young people or old people or whatever it is. We're looking at what is the demographic of your community, and does your club reflect that demographic? Because these are opportunities to grow your membership and represent all of those those different not characters, but categories. Okay, so when you look at equality and equity, equality is everybody's got the same shoe, because that's equitable, everybody's got the same shoe. But then equity is where they have the shoe that fits them, and so they have the same opportunity to make that track, or they have the same opportunity to reach out or do whatever that activity is. Okay, so in the chat, if you would put your thoughts on how can your findings, so your findings on DEI can be integrated in an action plan for membership development. Okay, so how can your findings of opportunities in your community, and how can you integrate that into an action plan for membership development? Okay, so we're just gonna, and you can do that throughout the talk today, but if you can write that into the chat, and then we'll discuss that, Benson, now or later.
Yeah, well, I'll do my part and then give everybody a chance to, figure out what they want to do, and then we can circle back around.
Okay. Okay, Benson, back to you.
Back to me. Okay, cool. Okay, gang. Hey, thanks for coming again. It's Monday night. The good news is there's no Monday Night Football, and so nobody's really missing anything. So this is really kind of a crucial time of the year, and I'm actually here to just talk about the last 5 months of your term, all right? And there are only 5 months left of your term, because you're out of there on June 30th, unless you're going to be one of those lucky people that are going to continue on. And in that regard, man, it's an exciting time for you, because you're just starting to get ramped up. I remember, when I was in high school, and it was my senior year, and my dad noticed that I was clearly slacking, like not taking it seriously. So he sat me down and he started having this conversation with me about about being a strong finisher. Now, I'm not sure if I like paid attention to any of it, but he decided he's going to keep repeating it for like every week of my entire senior year. So even though I'm not sure I responded to it, I'd never forget it, because the last thing that he he would always say is that, you know, people don't remember how you start, they remember how you finish. And it's very the most of people can start something, very few people can finish it and finish it strong. So I wanted to share just a couple things with you today about where you are in your presidency, and then how you can sort of hand the ball off to the next person, even if that next person is going to be yourself, right? Okay, so let me share the screen here. Okay, so I put together a little slideshow on this thing, and the good news that it's only a few slides, so it'll be quick. So what I wanted to talk about is just really passing the baton, because typically, for those of you guys who've been around in Rotary a while, this is the time when people, especially the club presidents, they start sliding, you know, not paying attention that much, kind of got it wired down. You know, all the big events were kind of in the front half of the year. Second half of the year, we might have a fundraising or something like that. And, you know, we already got this PE guy lined up. So I'm just going to sort of kind of coast it in. I know that in our club, it was almost kind of a tradition that the president just sort of kind of slowly disappeared. And then after the district conference, I hardly ever saw him. So one of the things we want to go over today is some things that you can do to kind of stay focused and then help to pass the baton over to the next person. Okay, so leadership transition time is really a crucial time in Rotary, right? Because one of two things is going to happen, right? Either there's going to be continuity in the leadership. That means you're going to really take a look and start working right now in your club so that there's a smooth transition as you kind of go into the next leadership, or there's not, where, you know, you're just on June 30th, the bell's going to ring and I'm out of there, and the next guy starts, and oh well, now it's his problem. And unfortunately, we get a lot of clubs that are like that because you know, there isn't a lot of continuity. So people feel like, wow, I'm starting from the ground, just from scratch, July 1, and then I'm just getting to understand what the job is about, and then the job is over. All right, so continuity is really kind of the key. So you want to you want to finish strong, try to finish strong, and then set the table up for whoever your president-elect is going to be, even if it's yourself, right? So here's some things, right? Okay, so part of what everybody's doing right now, and you should be doing it right now, maybe you are already started this process, is you're thinking about the goals that you've already set for the year, right? And maybe you're going to go back into Club Central and you're going to start looking at your goals, and you're going to start thinking about, well, you know, what goals can I achieve this year, and what goals are just like, it's not going to happen. All right. So what I'm proposing is that when you do this little review, that you include your president-elect, your incoming and outgoing board members, and your club trainer if you have one, because this is the time for that discussion to start happening. Because although, you know, the president-elect probably is thinking about goals, because, you know, in the president-elect training that Sandy and I are doing now, we're focusing a lot on goals, but those goals have to really be a collective kind of a brain thrust of more people in the club than just the president. Because what happens if only the PE, or the incoming president, puts down goals, one, if they don't discuss them with the rest of the group, chances are the group isn't really going to buy into them, or may not buy into them. The second thing is that it's a lot harder to try to accomplish a goal by yourself, as opposed to, you know, getting the group consensus to kind of help you with it. And it just makes for greater continuity and more cohesiveness within your club if they're all involved in that process, or at least in that discussion. So, I mean, you guys understand what ownership means, right? If you feel like hey, I've got something invested in the direction the club is going to go, um, chances are people will participate more. And then one of the things that we're trying to do as a group is to increase participant engagement. Yeah. All right. So, you know, you sit down, decide which goals can be accomplished this year and which goals can go forward into next year. Now, everybody pretty much kind of has the same goals, right? We want to increase membership, we want to increase foundation, we want to do more service projects. We want to get more kids to RILA. But I would ask you to besides just the numbers you want to put in, and it's super easy because when you put your goals into Club Central, um, it's really easy to just come up with a numerical goal because it doesn't ask you there. So tell me specifically how you're planning to achieve that. Okay, and that's where you want to go. It's like, okay, so we want to increase our membership by like 8 people. So how would we do that? Is it one a month? Is it a couple every 2 months? How specifically are we going to do that? Because goals, especially the ones that the club leadership does, if it doesn't, in my mind, if it doesn't have a date or doesn't have a driver, somebody that's driving it, really, really hard to accomplish it. And then, and then part of what you can do as the president is to help your PE coming along, and when you decide what those goals are going to be, help them and teach them how to put those goals into Club Central. Because I mean, we're going to do that in the PE training, but it's way easier if you sit down with the sitting president and they teach you how to do that. Okay, you're not going to believe this, but there's only really one more slide. Okay, all right. So how do you get your president-elect ready to lead? Okay, first thing, now if they're your president-elect is somebody like our club, okay, I'm in South Hilo. Um, our president-elect is Keith Greer, and Keith has only really been a Rotarian for 2 years. All right, so he doesn't. I mean, he knows who everybody in the club is, but he doesn't really know them well. So part of what we're going to try to do is connect them to, you know, who's the assistant governor, who are his board members, which of course he already knows, who's the club leadership, and really who are the club members. So we're going to try to do a like, hey, get to know Keith meeting where people can ask him about what he does, and he can ask people about what they do. Because we have members in our club. I don't know what your club's like. We have members in our club that have been Rotarians over 50 years. Okay, Keith has been a Rotarian for 2 years. So I want to try to find that common ground. So now in the our world of COVID, one of the things any leader of any at any level in our district has to be tech ready to run meetings. That means you got to understand whatever platform your club uses, Microsoft Teams, it uses Zoom, it uses WebEx, it uses Skype, you know, whatever it is. Now you have to have a certain level of technological fitness to be able to run meetings now. And so if your incoming person is not a technical person, they're going to have to be, or they're going to have some training, and you as the president can really help that. Okay, and then the thing that really helps an incoming president feel like their year is kind of coming together is when their calendar starts taking shape. Now, I put the budget in there too. Budget's important because now you can see some numbers in front of you, but it's really the calendar. So when you start laying out stuff, you know, from July 1st all the way to June 30th of 2022, when they start seeing things being plugged in, meetings being plugged in, November is going to be foundation month, you know, August is going to be membership month. Our major fundraiser is December. I mean, whatever it's going to be, when those things start getting plugged in, and all clubs have pretty much, they have a pretty set calendar. A lot of clubs, you know, this is when we do this service project. Like our club, you know, pretty much does the same service projects. It's pretty easy to predict, pretty easy to know when it comes on, what is happening at any particular time. So getting that calendar together is really, really important. And then obviously the budget, they're already going to get their board together. So Part of what we do when we start with our president-elects, now we started them in October, is that we're going to get the board together, get the budget together, get the calendar together. Okay, and the fourth thing is to gradually start working. And this is, after PETS is over, like right now, we're doing a lot of the pre-PETS thing. So if you think about it like getting a driver's license, all right. So what we're doing with the PEs now is we're reading the manual. So we're going to take the permit tests, all right. And the permit test is kind of like right around where PETS is. And then when that's done, now we're going to get in the car and we're going to start driving. And we're going to do 3 months of driving practice before we give them that keys and say, okay, go for it. All right. So what that means is that we have to gradually start working the president-elects into the operation and the management of club and board meetings. Right? Because before it used to be like, you can't do anything until July 1. And in July 1, I mean, it's terrifying for a lot of new presidents because now first time they're at the mic, first time they're leading a meeting, or first time they're going to do a Zoom meeting, whatever it is. So if they could start doing some of the meeting, do the flag pledge, do happy dollars, do the inspiration, do the 4-way tests at the end, little by little, you give them pieces of it, and then they can start working those pieces together as the time goes on. So we're talking about this 3 months of transition, which is going to be April, May, and June, so that by the time they take over at the end of June, beginning of July, they don't have the deer in the headlights thing. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? 21. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna do a quick breakout. It's gonna be about 12 or 13 minutes long. I'm gonna put you in small groups because small groups, you tend to talk more of like 3 or 4 people, all right? And so what I want you guys to talk about is I want you to pick out a goal that you either isn't done yet or haven't accomplished it yet. And I want you to talk about how you either feel like you can finish it this year or that it's probably better if you just pass it on to your PE, and how would that work? Okay, let me tell you that one more time, just in case you didn't get that. Okay, think about one goal that you had set for your club this year that either you haven't achieved it, maybe you just haven't achieved it yet, but you're gonna. And I want you to think about whether or how you can either achieve it this year or whether or not it's better to just sort of pass it on to the next PE. Okay? All right, so let me set this up for you. Take just a second here, breakout groups. Everybody pretty clear about it? Naomi, you want to make any comments here before I split everybody up? Okay, like you may have a super small group, might be just you or 2 people, okay? All right, you guys ready to go? Be a quick one, like maybe 10 minutes, and then we're back, okay? Thank you. Okay, bye. Okay, let's see. Kathleen, would you like to go somewhere today? Oh, Peely left. Okay. Let's see. Kathleen, would you like to go somewhere today? Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. No problem. Okay. You're good. Let's see. Um, Alrighty. Welcome back, folks. Actually, I'm just experimenting, like how many beers I can drink during the breakout room. So that's why when you guys go there, like, okay, here we go. It's only 4 today, so gotta keep exercising. Hey, thanks a
We're
lot.
back.
Thanks a lot,
for
everybody.
interrupting me.
Yeah, good one, good one. Okay, so let's have somebody, Sarah. What happened in your group, or you can just talk about what you had to share in your group. Oh,
Okay.
got on mute. Go
And
ahead.
did you say me? I just want to make sure I'm the right person.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I was actually
so,
looking right at your little picture there. Yeah.
Scott honored us with his internet challenges, so he kept freezing in some pretty crazy positions. So we'll give him a free ride on this one.
Yeah.
And then Arlene was mentioning one thing. Well, we discussed membership, but then she was also mentioning the successful virtual 5K. And she raised about $4,000 on that and how easy it was. So I'm like taking notes. Great idea. And then I mentioned, I think, I feel like membership has been something, well, I feel many goals have not yet been attained, but I think membership is one that I'd really like my club to focus on maybe this coming month. In January, we divvied up our members that we've really not heard from, because of COVID. And we just all started making phone calls, and it's been really, really nice having the
Good.
members reach out. I kind of wish I had done that months ago, but better late than never. But our next push, I think, will be towards membership.
Great. The clubs that have that have a little call out crew. They've been getting some just great results on that. So that is working if your clubs are willing to do it. So Jeff Pang, tell us what's happening in Jeff Pang's world.
You sound great muted.
Yeah, you gotta unmute, Jeff.
Okay. Well, Jeff Pang is
Yeah.
going to leave the club better than he got it.
Good, awesome.
And then
Great.
Peely and Mariko are going to try to finish off the trees they want. Their goal is to plant them trees.
Okay, cool. Is that it? Anything else?
Well,
what about your club?
which club?
Your club, the club that
Oh,
you're.
West Honolulu.
Yes, that one.
Well, that's what I was mentioning. The goal we
okay.
have is to make it better than what I got it.
All right. Okay. That's a great goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It is.
Bernard,
Hard work.
what about you? What's happening in Bernard's world?
Well, I think it was consistent with Dave, me, and Paul McGillicuddy. We all spoke about membership as being a goal to finish off the year. And, I guess with all the things that are available to us, that's still something, we all can work on and try to finish off strong, as you mentioned. I mentioned that slide that Naomi put up, that might be helpful to energize our members to think more broadly about people, within our community. And, really, put the question out there, looking at our club, we have 11 members, is this a fair representation of our Mililani community? Truthfully, and, like, see if we can maybe generate more than the one more person. We added one earlier in the year. We were thinking of we're going to be having another person join here shortly. Was planning to join, but Dick, May, and I also talked about maybe utilizing and leveraging our shopping areas in our area, the town center of Mililani, and Dick with Kamakani.
Yeah.
Kamakani out in Kapolei.
Yeah.
You know, maybe try to leverage any open space that they have, and maybe, you know, utilize space there to like maybe conduct, instead of our breakfast meeting, and we could still do a breakfast type meeting there. That's when we normally have it, but maybe open it up to maybe a Pauhana after hour type of meeting as well, evening. Maybe we can get a, you know, a broader participation from the community that way.
Yeah. Great, great. That's a great idea. So, Dennis, what's happening on Maui, man? Oh,
You're on
gotta,
mute, Dennis.
yeah, gotta unmute. Just hit your space bar. That'll unmute you.
Like everybody else.
Yep. Good one.
I was telling Dave, I call it a tourist club because we're snowbirds. We have
Yeah.
a lot of people are here in the winter time, and then we start getting really geared up, and then people disappear. So, but Dave and I kind of really agreed that with the Zoom or whatever you're using, whatever platform you're using, some people adapt to that, some people don't, and maybe we just need to have some fun, you know, if that's possible. I mean, we can't hug each other, we can't shake hands, we can't be close to each other, but just try to do some things that are more fun. And that's one of the things that I wanted to try to do. And in fact, I think it might have been you that said something about having more fun in 21. And I've kind of adopted that as my second half slogan for the rest of the year. That's just kind of where we're at, you know. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We're muddling through it, and
Yeah. That's good, Dennis. Yeah, I think you got a unique situation over there where you got kind of a transient club coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Carol, what's happening in Carol's world down there?
Well, quite a lot, but we talked about membership, and that will be our goal to push or to seek membership. You know, as a military, you know, working with the military, I kind of know they're scheduled on a rotation of 3 years most times. And so if I catch them at the beginning of the 3 years, then I you know, pursue them and keep inviting them. But if it's going to be after that, I try to encourage them to join wherever they're going. And so we've been trying to do that. And now virtually it's kind of a lot easier because you can actually join a meeting on the mainland, or, you know, visit and then see if that person will be a good fit for that, for somewhere out there, right? Because my mantra, everybody should know it by now, is to bloom where you're planted. So I want everybody to bloom wherever they are. And so, and I think it was the same thing. We were talking about membership and just doing, you know, those little things.
Yeah.
So
Make it work.
yeah, that's kind of what's happening in our world. We talked about dues. I think Mr. Kelly was talking about not paying certain dues, or even having, like in our club too, we have kind of defer payments for some of the members who have been hit by the furlough and the pandemic and things like that. So as long as we can meet our obligations as a club to the Rotary organization, then, you know, we kind of work with everybody, and, you know, each one reach one, each one feed one kind of thing. So.
Thank you, Carol. That's great. So, hey, Rich, I saw you posted something here about a fellows program. You're entertaining that idea. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're trying to develop something through our foundation that might help facilitate bringing in young professionals that can give us new ideas and of where they might want to improve the community, and utilizing our resources to help them establish their goals, and then also provide some mentoring and leadership potential for them going forward. It's in the incubator stages. Gwen Yamamoto Lau is putting that sort of thing together. We're hoping that we can launch it in her term with some concrete money behind it, so that we can expand our leadership that way, and our membership, and in utilizing diversity and to do that.
Man, that's a great idea. So so we got about 10 minutes left. So Naomi, I'm gonna pass over to you, and we can continue our DEI conversation in the last few minutes we have.
So it sounds like the goal that we've kind of all been struggling with is membership. And so Cheryl was talking about some of their plans on vocational talks, having a member talking about their vocation and bringing in young professionals in that field, or young professionals who would like to hear what that professional is talking about. So looking at young professionals, also the business professionals, baby boomers, and I think that was Sandy's idea. Sandy, that's what you said. Don't forget the baby boomers. So, so looking at all the different opportunities, and maybe thinking about how, if we bring them in, what do we need to bring them in to entice them? Like maybe lower dues, having somebody sponsor their dues. There was another person in the chat that says they have other members who might pay dues for but I wanted to ask you, and you can put that in the chat if you want, but what can the district do to help you with membership? So maybe we waive the fees for new members for this year or next first quarter. Would that help? Or help you with marketing? Tell me, what kind of help do you need? What can we do? Oh, what about waiving the dues for young professionals or road actors that want to join your club?
Yeah, that's all great thing. Anything to reduce the cost to young professionals, that's always a struggle.
I think that the idea is very good, but I also think that it should cost a little bit, like not just for free or like totally a sponsorship, because when we don't pay for things, we just don't value them as much. So I think it's something to keep in mind.
Good point. Good point.
But the dues is only a small portion of the cost of Rotary. So I think anything that we can get will help reduce that cost. And for them, that means a lot more to some of us who've been around for a while, and you know, it's not as difficult. So I agree with you, Peely, but I don't think that the dues, you're talking about $39 for 6 months, something of that nature. And so that'll help, but it's still going to cause them to still have to pay something.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any ideas? Put it in the chat, email me, you know, we're open for ideas. Okay, Benson.
Yeah, I definitely think that Peely's right, is that you have to have skin in the game, right? Is that you have to pay something to have it have a sense of value, even if you know, you give them 6 months with no fees, and then you're gonna pick it up after 6 months or whatever, you know, whatever it is. So on the at the sort of pets level, when we're working now to put together pets, and I'm working with a woman who's the district trainer over in one of the districts in California, and the session that we're talking about is how to do service projects during the pandemic. And so what we found is that people have come up with some unbelievably creative things that can be done. And so, you know, I know over here in East Hawaii, we connected with the Department of Health. And so our 5 Rotary clubs over here are organizing now to provide Operators were like the call-in center for people that are calling in to try to make an appointment to get a vaccination. And really when this sort of opportunity came to us, the Department of Health didn't really have the staff to, man the phones. And so it really wasn't going to be able to do it without the help of some organization in it. And it happened to be Rotary. And I absolutely believe what Jennifer Jones told us in December when she came to speak with us. She said that the reason that people join Rotary is to find some meaningful way to serve their communities. And I think if we always remember that and are driven by that, then there'll always be a reason for us. So the session that we're going to do, we decided to call it, this is who we are, service before self. And so our message is that no matter what, Rotarians kind of go out there, and when we use the example of the eradication of polio, and that Rotarians were able to eradicate polio because we had some courageous people that went out into the world to put those drops into these little babies. Even when there was, they could get ill. They went into countries where the political climate was really unstable, risk their life and limb to go out there and do good for the world. So Rotarians are people like that will go out there and take risks in order to do some great things for the community. So, that's the thing that we all hold in common, and everybody that's on the screen tonight, is that we are people that want to take action. We are people that want to go out there and serve our communities. And there are lots of people out there that want to do that. And we just have to ask them, because what I find is that, I was president 2 years in a row, right? If I had a meeting and I said, I need a volunteer, I need 2 volunteers to be a greeter next week, Tuesday, nobody volunteer. But if I call them up directly and say, hey, Dick, will you volunteer next Tuesday? I got you covered. I'm glad to help you. Yeah, and it's just one of those bizarre things. And that a part of being a great leader, like all of you guys are, is that you have to be a great asker, is that you have to be willing to ask people, regardless of whatever their answer is. And sometimes it's a good answer, sometimes it's not so good answer, but you have to be a good asker. And so part of what makes everybody, especially in Rotary, especially the leadership, is that everybody's a really good asker, and they're not afraid to make that ask, which is really great. Okay, so anybody else want to add anything? Any last comments here before we wind it off into the sunset? See, but if I called somebody specifically and said, Arlene, do you have anything to say tonight before we go? Arlene would have something to say. Okay, gang. Well, hey,
I think Dennis had something, and then I got something.
Okay,
no?
Dennis, you had something? Okay.
No, I was just kind of waving.
Okay.
Oh, you're saying goodbye already?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead, Naomi.
Okay, so all of the things on your slide, Benson, those are things that the club trainer can do, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Rich Proctor has this thing he was telling me about of how the past president is the club trainer automatically. Is Rich still here?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the way we were discussing it, and the direction I think we are going to follow, and that it makes it easy because the past president is always on the board, and it can be a board position, grandfathered in.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that Gwen Porcaro suggested that we change the term to Club Kupuna because everybody knows what that means, kind of like the shepherder of the club. But we'll throw that out there and discuss it more. But I like the idea of automatically putting the past president into a position, a leadership position where they can help the club because of their experience. So, okay, we'll keep it rolling. That's great.
The operative word is Yoda, the guy who's been
Yoda.
using the lights a long time and knows how to use it.
Yeah, there you go. Club Yoda. All right, there we go. I'm the Club Yoda. Okay, gang. Appreciate your time tonight. Hey man, hour flies by when you're having fun. So we'll see you guys next time. Watch your emails. We'll keep you posted. Okay. See you guys
Thank you.
later. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
More
you.
Taco.
Stop the meeting.